telling what they saw. The rest couldn't believe.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey, you guys. So this is live coverage from the Tupac Shakur murder case with, was it the Tupac in Nevada versus Dwayne Davis. So yeah, it's gonna be a live coverage. It happened over 2 days ago, and so I told you guys that I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna try my best to keep up with the case that happened, that's going on surrounding KEEFE D with this Tupac Shakur case. I said I was going to try my hardest. So by me trying to keep my word, because I know I have said a lot of things, and so by me trying to grow a audience, my family over here on House of Queens TV, I'm going to try my best to stay on things for you guys, even though some of you guys ask for it and some of you guys don't. But a lot of you guys in my comment section have asked for me to try to keep up the ones who are not able to physically go there. And if y'all have not seen it anywhere else, I'm going to try over here on House of Queens TV to keep you guys updated on a lot of things surrounding Tupac Shakur and this fuck nigga KEEFE fucking D. So with further ado, thank you guys so much for coming over here and viewing the content with me so much. I appreciate it so much. That's off top. I can't express how much I appreciate you guys for coming over here and viewing the content. So I wanted to hold you guys too long, because this is a long ass situation, and I'm gonna try to give you guys all of it. I'm not sure if I am, but you guys did really good, and I appreciate you guys coming in the comment section on the last thing about KEEFE D getting arrested. So like I said, I don't know how much story space I got, but I'm gonna try to give you guys as much as I can that my story space would allow me to. So I don't want to talk too much, so let's get straight into it.
And welcome to Law and Crime Network. I'll be with you the next few hours with live analysis in a very busy day of trial coverage. We begin in Las Vegas for the arraignment of Dwayne KEEFE D. Davis. The former gang leader is charged in the 1996 death of rapper Tupac Shakur. The young rapper was just 25 years old when he was shot in a drive-by shooting on the Las Vegas Strip. Davis has previously described himself as a witness to the murder, writing in his 2019 memoir that he was in the car when gunfire erupted. He also implicated his nephew Orlando Anderson as one of the 2 people in the back seat where the shots were fired. Today, Davis is the last surviving suspect to the crime, and in just a short time, he will make his second court appearance to formally enter a plea ahead of his jury trial. And Anjanette Levy is out in Nevada for today's hearing. Let's hear from her now with the latest.
I'm Anjanette Levy in Las Vegas. The man accused of ordering the murder of rapper Tupac Shakur in 1996 will be back in court later this morning. Dwayne KEEFE D. Davis faces a murder charge with a gang enhancement. He's expected to enter a plea to that charge.
The record effect that Mr. Davis is present in custody.
Davis was in court 2 weeks ago for his arraignment, but he didn't have a lawyer with him, so the arraignment was continued. The 60-year-old former Southside Compton Crips gang leader is being held without bail on that murder charge. Prosecutors say Davis gave a Glock handgun to his nephew, Orlando Anderson, to shoot Tupac Shakur and Suge Knight on September 7th, 1996. Retired Las Vegas Metro Police Lieutenant Chris Carroll found Tupac Shakur and Suge Knight at Harmon and Las Vegas Boulevard.
This layout has changed over the years, but it still has the same basic shape.
Carroll said the scene was chaotic, and he asked Tupac Shakur who shot him.
Well, he looked at me and he got his breath together and, kind of got himself, and he went, "F you," and he said it like that with anger in his voice, like he didn't want to deal with me, basically.
With witnesses not telling what they saw, an arrest couldn't be made. But then in 2018, KEEFE D started talking about the murder.
So how did you know Tupac and Suge was in the black BMW? He was hanging out the window.
Davis also wrote a book in 2019 entitled Compton Street Legend, describing that night in detail and the moment that shots were fired at Tupac Shakur and Suge Knight as they sat in a black BMW.
Hey, Keith, Metro Police, come over here.
All of those factors led to Davis's arrest on a murder charge nearly 3 weeks ago. Dwayne Davis's arraignment is scheduled for 9 a.m. Pacific time, noon Eastern time. Stay with Law and Crime for continuing coverage of this hearing. I'm Anjanette Levy in Las Vegas.
Thank you so much, Anjanette, and we will hear from Anjanette after the hearing. But for now, I want to introduce to you Corey Pegues, who will be with us on our Dwayne Davis coverage today. Corey is a retired NYPD deputy inspector and author of Once a Cop. Thank you so much for joining me, Corey. And as we wait for this hearing to begin, what are your initial thoughts, and what plea is he going to take here?
Well, my initial thoughts are there's something wrong with this guy, KEEFE D. He's an attention grabber, attention seeker, because no one in their right mind, after all of this time of getting away with the murder, again, he's allegedly the murderer, or had something to do with it, passing the firearm to his nephew. I don't know why he would come out and go on this tour. He pretty much went on a tour to tell that he was one of the people that was involved in the vehicle, and so being involved in the vehicle is an accessory to the crime.
But here's the deal, Corey. 27 years ago, this is when this happened, when Tupac Shakur was murdered. It's been a very long time. Why now, and why do you think it took the police so long to make this arrest?
Well, you know, as me and you was talking off camera, you know, I like to always tell people that's not intimately involved in police work that it's not 40 minutes and 20-minute commercials. It's not a TV show. This is a very tedious process. And this was a national murder. This is one of the biggest rap murders in the history of, you know, rap murders. So you want to get it right. You don't want to lock the wrong person up. You want to make sure that you get it right. Now, granted, I come from the big bad NYPD, 40-something thousand police officers. We have a whole division of detectives and a whole nine.
Strip, and Davis has since admitted to being in the car where the shots were fired. Davis is the last living suspect linked to the death. And while we wait to go live into that Vegas courtroom, I want to take a look at some interviews Davis gave on YouTube as it relates to his involvement. Take a look.
Why was y'all in Vegas in the first place? Come to the fights. We was going to the fights before the rappers, before Suge even had a record company. We've been going to the fights since like 88, 89. Yeah. Come down there for the big fights.
So did y'all have tickets to that fight?
Yeah.
Y'all did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Got them from my little scapper partner. Scapper. I used to go to the games, the Raider games at the Coliseum. He used to be in front of the thing. I found out he was a scapper, so we exchanged numbers. So any concert, sport event, I would call him ahead of time and get the tickets.
What day did y'all show up to Vegas?
I came on that Thursday.
That Thursday?
Yeah.
And the fight was on a Saturday. Y'all showed up on a Thursday. And if I'm not mistaken, the day before the shooting, you spoke to Suge Knight and Tupac, right? A day prior?
I didn't talk to Tupac. Don't know me.
But Suge Knight, you had a
Yeah, we was waiting on our cars at the valet at the MGM, and they pulled up, and they Rolls Royces. And
tell me about that, because that was a Friday. That was the day before.
Yeah, and he got out and came and shook my hand. What up, big dog?
Suge Knight.
Yeah. That's why I didn't understand why would they jump on my nephew the next day. I was stupid.
Okay, so he came up to you, he shook his hand, and...
So, man, what up, big dog? What you doing? You know, and all the because all the bras was around him, and so they like, who the is this dude? He must be powerful. You know what I'm saying? Everybody must have looked at it like that. Like, damn, he just came out of the crowd just to shake this dude in. Yeah.
So, just take me through that Saturday, everything leading up to the incident.
We had got tickets from the scapper dude, and he had us placed all over. And we was gonna meet at the cafe after the fight. That was all our plans. So everybody was coming to the cafe. seen some of my partners from 11-8 East Coast Crips. They're like, hey, he just jumped on your nephew. Like, who? Said them death row. Like, bullshit. And they're like, yeah. And we ran in the lane inside the lobby.
So y'all ran into your nephew Orlando. What did he say to you?
Weird, he just said they jumped on him and stuff like that. And I asked him, was he all right? He said his shoulder's kind of up. I guess when getting kicked in the shoulder or something, he said his shoulder was up.
How mad was he?
I was more mad than him. Yeah. Why would you know what's up? Know people that is.
So, what exactly did he tell you? Did he tell you, like, yo, Tupac jumped on me, or...
He just said that Death Row jumped on him.
And the only injury he had was his shoulder?
His shoulder was kind of...
So pretty revealing details there by KEEFE D, as former NYPD Commander Corey Pegues is back with me here in studio. And Corey, as we listen to this interview, was that not enough for the police to act on something?
Well, I believe that KEEFE D was implicated very early on in the investigation. And watching this interview, just the portion that we have seen, he's not really making any incriminating statements. He's basically saying that he was in Vegas. That's his nephew. His nephew got jumped, but he's not saying anything about the shooting. So they had already spoken with KEEFE D a few times, the police, I'm quite sure. They have interviewed him a few times, but he never didn't give the linchpin where they could just say, okay, we gotta lock him up now.
Now, keep in mind, 14 years ago, he did talk to the cops, and they made a deal. He was going to tell them some details about the incident, but he was not going to be prosecuted. But now he has been, and what is the difference between then and now? What was it that he said that could possibly make him now be arraigned?
Well, we don't know what the deal was. Was it a statute of limitations on the deal, and he didn't know, and now he's out? Because it doesn't make sense. If he had this deal where he couldn't get prosecuted, why would he be out talking? So that just makes me believe when he had a deal for a certain case. I don't know what the deal was for. It was probably for one particular case. And after that case was taken down, the deal was done. And now he's back in the game.
Well, I'm sure we're going to learn more from that courtroom later on today. I want to go back to that interview, because later on in that interview we just saw, he touched on the way he was feeling when Tupac was in the hospital. Take a listen.
Just took me through that week where y'all in LA and Tupac was in the hospital. Everything is on the news.
Yeah,
what was your mindset?
That MTV man, he made me stink. What's his name? Mike Left? Yeah, that mother was that moon man. Oh, I hated that. You know?
But how was you feeling, man? Like Tupac being in there for a whole week, you know, people saying he gonna survive, you know.
How was I feeling?
Yeah, like how was you feeling? Like, because everything is on the news. It's rumors going around that y'all did it. Tupac is in the hospital fighting for his life. Just take me through that entire week where, you know, all this is going on.
I'm a crip from the streets, bro.
Yeah, but this is a high-file situation, yo. Like, everything is on the news, MTV.
And I lost my mom at 15. So it ain't nothing I really, you know, I didn't feel nothing. Just another day, I had to keep it moving. Plus, I'm responsible for 300-400 kilos. That's just part of the business.
Well, as you watch that, Corey, I mean, it doesn't seem like he feels any sympathy, really. He was seen chuckling, laughing. This is a man who self-describes himself as a hardened gangster. So when you look at his demeanor and how he is, are you surprised at...
Yeah, he looked as supposed to be a hardened gangster, but he should know the rules of the game, especially at his age of 60 years old. He's 60 years old, so the gang culture back in the day is very different from the gang culture now. So he should know better. He should know to keep your fucking mouth closed. Keep your mouth closed. Even at the age he is now, I know he's trying to be a a celebrity now? Was that his goal of trying to become a celebrity? He wrote a book and all this other kind of shit. But the number one rule is to keep your mouth closed. You still can tell certain shit without, to the extent that you did. And yes, I had to pause this here and there because this is not my original content. Even though you guys don't want to hear me talk, but I have to. So, again, at his old ass age, gangs were very different how it is now. And the gangs originated from back in the day of black people coming together to help out the community against the lighter hue people. Now, the gangs now, what we have now, they ain't doing none of that shit. They're not giving back to the community. They are destroying the community instead of trying to help the community.
Where we are now.
No, not necessarily, but when you're in that life, that's what it is. So I'm not surprised at what he's saying. But if you go back to the previous interview, the clip we was looking at earlier. Let's go. I've been waiting for you.
There was no resist at all.
No resistance whatsoever. But again, him resisting doesn't even make sense.
And again, you guys, this is just them talking leading up to the trial. So I don't know if this is going to be the exact trial. This is just some clips of, I'm trying to fast forward it and not, give y'all all this boring stuff. It might be boring to some of y'all. It might not. But, I know you guys want to see the inside of the trial. So I'm trying to fast forward and also give you guys a lot of important information as well. So just hold on and just keep viewing and please thumbs up the content.
Since you probably got 25 cops there, you see they're heavily armored. Where's he going? He didn't have a firearm on him, so he was just going for a morning walk. It didn't even make sense to resist. But because of his demeanor, it was easier for the cops. We like when people comply. Put your hands behind your back. We'll give you water. I'll let you drink the whole bottle. That's nice. All we want to do is get home safe. We don't want no officers getting hurt. So this actually is an arrest that the police love because we don't have to engage in fighting or resisting.
Well, he's had many interactions with police over the past few years, past decade. But I think one that stands out is that there was one time where a cop had questioned him and he said, yeah, I'm involved on what happened in one of the biggest rap murder cases ever, September 7th, 1996. In fact, he was boasting that, hey, I'm involved in that case. So it almost seems to me he wants to get caught.
Yes, or again, Michelle, he really thought that he could get away with this because it's so long. You gotta understand, it's like your kids, right? You put cookies in the jar. You tell them don't take a cookie out the jar. They keep taking the cookie. There's no punishment. You're not taking their phone, their television away. They're gonna keep taking the cookies. So this guy was getting away for so long. He's like, hey, I could boast, I could talk about it, nobody's coming at me. I've already said numerous times, I was in a vehicle, there was discussion that I passed the gun off to Orlando. That right there, him incriminating himself passing a gun, I don't know why he wasn't locked up at that point.
Well, can you describe a little bit about that relationship? Orlando Anderson, who was his nephew, he was murdered 2 years later after Tupac Shakur was murdered. Obviously, once again, if you guys are just joining us, KEEFE D is the only living suspect. Oh, before I finish that thought, there is a presser now going on right now, so I want to take us to that.
Get hired to review the grand jury transcripts or to prepare a motion if one is needed, but obviously the things that jump out is that there's no gun, there's no car, and there's no witnesses from 27 years ago.
Mr. Goodman, when things get finalized, do you plan to ask for bail?
Of course, I think Mr. Davis should be released on OR. He's not a flight risk, he's not a danger to the community. He's lived in Henderson for 11 years, and he's not going anywhere.
Ross, how do you defend someone who, about the time publicly has said that they were there
Davis said, under those circumstances, I believe there's an obvious defense to that on why he made those statements and the motive for making those statements. I mean, that's all I can answer at this point.
Thank you.
That's all I can hold
You guys
too.
got me to say too much.
It's heavy up your hand. Thank you, sir. Y'all bring a stand next time.
All right, as you just heard, that was KEEFE D's lawyer, Ross Goodman, answering some questions to the media. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to head back to Las Vegas to see the latest. Anjanette Levy is also on standby to talk to us. We'll be right back. I'm Michelle Yu. If you're just joining us, the arraignment for Dwayne KEEFE D. Davis was delayed once again for the 1996 death of rapper Tupac Shakur. Law and Crime's Anjanette Levy was inside that courthouse for the hearing, and she is here with us now to bring us the latest. Thank you so much, Anjanette. What were the vibes inside that courtroom?
Well, Michelle, it was kind of like Groundhog Day. We were all here 2 weeks ago for this same procedure, the same arraignment hearing. It was continued yet again. This time, though, KEEFE D had a lawyer present. That's Dwayne Davis. His street name is KEEFE D, of course. And his name is Ross Goodman. He does high-profile cases here in Las Vegas. His mother is the mayor of Las Vegas. And he asked for a 2-week delay because he said he's still finalizing the representation agreement with Dwayne Davis. And so there are some things that are still going to need to be worked out.
Hey, y'all. How did he obtain that lawyer? Is there people in the higher up cases helping him obtain his lawyer? Y'all heard that the lawyer mother is the mayor of Las Vegas, Nevada. So how? I know he have sold books. Excuse me, y'all. I'm eating. I'm so sorry. So, how did KEEFE D obtain his lawyer? He's a high-profile attorney. I know he done sold his books and stuff like that, but with this lawyer, he charged a lot of money. So how did he obtain this lawyer, you guys? Put in the comment section.
So this arraignment will be continued until November 2nd. Same vibe as last time, really. A little less media there. I did not see KEEFE D's family here this time, but I did meet up with a friend of his who came to support him. He wasn't in the courtroom, but he was outside the courtroom. So you could see KEEFE D, I mean, he's very serious. He knows this is serious. It doesn't get any more serious than this in the legal system. He is facing a murder charge with a gang enhancement. So it's a case that is a very high-profile case here in Las Vegas, and the Las Vegas Police Department and the DA have said that this is an important case. And joining me to discuss it is somebody who has handled his fair share of high-profile cases. He is Gabe Grasso. He represented O.J. Simpson, you may recall, back in 2007, 2008, in that robbery case where O.J. Simpson went into a hotel and robbed some people with the assistance of others of some memorabilia. So, Gabe, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Your thoughts on what happened today?
Well, this is just sort of the, I guess, ugly underbelly of how these cases get started with not much going on. Apparently, Mr. KEEFE D, that's what he goes by.
KEEFE D, yes.
KEEFE D.
Dwayne Davis, yes.
Yeah, Dwayne Davis. I'd call him Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Mr. Davis is attempting to hire Ross Goodman. He's apparently made an agreement with him to a retainer agreement, but there's still some things to work out. And that's where we're at with this. You know, it's an interesting case, and I spoke with Ross. I've known Ross for 15, 20 years, and he's a capable attorney. I've actually tried cases as co-counsel with him, and he can handle this. He'll be able to handle this case. It's just a question of the client getting the lawyer on board and seeing where we're at when the dust settles and we get here in 2 weeks, and hopefully Ross can say, you know, I'm going to confirm his counsel, because that's what he's got to do. He's got to confirm his counsel. Okay. And then they're going to set they might set a trial date, they might set a status date, but normally they would set a far out trial date with some dates in between.
You said you spoke with Ross. We just saw you over there speaking with him. You've tried cases with him. Tell us a little bit about his style. He seems very sure of himself. He came down here and talked with us. He says 600 pages of grand jury transcripts. He hasn't read them, but he already sees defenses to this case.
One of the most difficult things for somebody to do in a case like this is hire the right lawyer. Because I've been trying cases now for going on 35 years, all over the country. Most of my practice now is federal. But I tell people that, it's very difficult to really know who to hire. You can't go by the billboards. You can't go by, not that criminal defense lawyers use billboards, but you can't really go by that. And so, at least I can tell you that, there are a handful of lawyers in any jurisdiction that are the top criminal defense lawyers. And Ross Goodman is a lawyer who regularly practices criminal defense. You want at least that. Hopefully he'll be able to, and he's got a team around him. He's got a going office. He's here every day. So that's what you need. So I think, like I said, I don't have any doubts that Ross can handle this case. This is a case that it's going to take some nuance, that's for sure.
Let's talk about that. Nuance for sure, because we have somebody who engaged in a proffer agreement back in 2008, 2009. He tells this story about what happened that night. He basically, that statement can't be used against him, but then he goes out starting in 2018 and he starts giving interviews to YouTube channels, to BET, the Death Row Chronicles. He writes a book, Compton Street Legend. He talks about throwing a Glock. I read the book. He throws a Glock into the back seat. It doesn't appear that this is a work of fiction, or that he was telling it as a work of fiction. This was supposed to be a non-fiction account of what happened. So what are the nuances here? How do you kind of work around this?
Well, obviously, I'm just here commenting.
Sure.
I don't even think, no one on the defense side, I think at this point, I think probably Ross is the most informed defense attorney in town on it, because he's probably had some bits and pieces of information that other people don't know. But from what I know about the case, for example, there have been some articles about this proffer agreement with the feds in California back in the day where he made statements. Well, I think, for example, they made a big deal about that. I think that the state can move forward. The state in Nevada can move forward with this case without using any of the statements he made in the proffer agreement. That's how I'd approach it if I were the prosecutor. I wouldn't want that issue coming up. But remember, proffer agreements have a lot of, I do that on a regular basis. That's one of the things I do most in my practice is proffer agreements with the feds. And proffer agreements have other parts of them that people don't remember. They just think that whatever you say in the proffer agreement can't be used against you. In reality, if you then in a trial down the road take the stand and say something different than you said in the proffer agreement, they can use the proffer agreement against you. There's sort of contingencies about that, as well as they can use what you say. They can make what's called derivative use, which means the feds can take what you said, or any investigative body, and they can investigate further based on what you say and come up with more evidence. So I don't think that's going to be a big issue in this case, the proffer agreement. I think they have enough to move forward. The grand jury found probable cause to move forward on this charge. The issue I see is all this stuff has been out there for a long time, okay? All this information. He wasn't charged in 2018. He wasn't charged in 2019. He was charged in 2023.
Right.
So what's up with that? See, that'd be a question I would have as a defense counsel, and I would say, okay, what caused this? What was the trigger? That's what I would have my investigators and trying to figure out what was the reason for this. Maybe there's something that I can use as a defense in how this case got where it is right now. That's one of the issues. And the other thing that it's funny.
Okay, you guys. So the majority of this is just people talking, getting their opinion about this case and stuff like that. So you heard it from the former lawyer for O.J. Simpson when he said that the main question is, why did they charge him now? What was the reason? What was the main opinion or point that they're charging him in 2023? So that is very eye-opening on to know why, after all these years, that he is now being picked up for the murder of the late great Tupac Shakur. So I didn't want to keep, boring y'all with stuff like this. Like I said, you guys may be bored, you guys may not be bored on this. The main thing, excuse me, the main thing about this is we want to be inside of the courtroom. I don't know if they had cameras inside of the courtroom, but this is just people giving their opinions on the situation about KEEFE D. So my thing is this: what do you guys think? Why was he picked up now? After all these years, why was he picked up? So, I want to be inside the courtroom. I want to give y'all some insight of the courtroom. But as we know it now, the trial has been put on hold again until November 2nd. So I'll be back November 2nd to give y'all an update again. If you guys want to hear the rest of this, go to Law and Crime Trial Network. Again, it's Law and Crime Trial Network. If you guys want to see the whole entire situation surrounding what's going on with KEEFE D and Tupac Shakur. Again, it's Law and Crime Network. So I said trial, but it's Law and Crime Network, and it was recorded 2 days ago. So I'm just giving y'all a rundown on the situation that's happening in real time. So again, thank you guys so much for coming over here and viewing the content with me. And I will try, like I said, I will try my hardest to keep you guys in tune and what's going on. If you guys can't catch it anywhere else, I'm going to try to stay on top of this case. Again, it has been put off until November 2nd. This is the second time that they have showed up in court and things was put off. So why they keep putting shit off? I don't know. I really don't. I don't know stuff like this. I've never been involved in this type of situation. I have been involved in other types of situations surrounding my family members. They are gang affiliated as well. But this is a lot. This is a lot. So it's a lot. So if you guys want me to continue with the rest of this, I will come back and give y'all another half of it. If not, it is what it is. Let me know in the comment section. Again, I'm doing this, guys, for the ones that are a die-hard Tupac Shakur fan. If I turn my camera on in my room, I have this big ass poster that I ordered. It almost cost me like $100-some odd just for this little ass poster that somebody fucking did on their own. It's not a signed autograph fucking poster, but I'll pay almost $100 for this goddamn poster that's on my wall of Tupac Shakur. Now, my money could have went somewhere else, but I have to get this poster for my husband. He wanted it, and I had to get it for him. So, if you guys want me to continue with this other half of this sit down right here, I will. If you guys don't, then I won't. But again, we'll be back here about Tupac Shakur November 2nd. If I find anything else surrounding this case, I will upload it for you guys. But meantime, between let's put up the bottle of champagne, because he like his Alizé. His Alizé, that was his fucking favorite liquor, was some Alizé, his Thug Passion. So we don't have no Thug Passion in here, but let's throw up some wine bottles for Tupac and say this is Thug Passion. Let's throw that in the chat for Tupac Shakur. And I love you guys so much, and I'll catch you guys on another one. Have a safe, wonderful, blessed day, night, evening, wherever you're watching from.